Hey, 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 welcome to another Valley Forged. It's my pleasure to be here. I love lasers. Come on. Come on. How could you not love lasers? So much fun. And I've got so much great content coming up, new stuff. But today, making the USA flag. And I made this for lightburn. Now, you can use other laser software, no problem. You're just going to have to understand your software, how to make the layers and whatnot, change them up. Or if you're just doing an engrave, that's going to be pretty simple. But came out beautiful, absolutely loving this. And I'm gonna try to go step by step. I'm not gonna completely handhold you. We gotta learn our laser, and that's part of the process, part of the fun. But I will go step by step. First step, you're gonna need a laser, obviously. Today I'm using the Atomstat Craft, which I am absolutely loving. It is a 20-watt diode laser, so 20 watt is just perfect for doing this. If you have more, great. If you have less, well, it may be some trial and error there. I'm using 3 millimeter wood that I got from Craft Closet. I have a discount link below. I was making an order anyway because I buy all my stuff from there. And I said, hey, I'm going to make a bunch of flags and patriotic stuff because it's getting close to 4th of July and I have a very patriotic family. So, what do you got? And they sent me all kinds of fun, cool stuff, and I decided to just go for it. I mean, I made this flag design, I guess, over a year ago, and now I have updated it to make it, more better. And this is just some of the stuff that they sent me. Uh, I decided I was going to make a sparkly flag because, well, my brother's new wife would really like that, I thought. So I made that. And so you could get all those different kinds over at Craft Closet. I'm going to go into more of that as far as colors. If you go there, you can get just the red, white, and blue color board solids, which is what I used in the original file. I'll show you a picture of that. Looked great. But what you could also do is order using hex codes or whatever. You could get the exact color that you want. And so these really rich blues and reds, really, really nice. This is the original flag. Looks fantastic. So it's kind of up to you what color you want to use. But just go over there, try that out, and see what you can come up with. So that would be the first step is get the laser. Second step, well, like and subscribe, of course. Third step, make sure you have the wood. I'm using 3 millimeter MDF colored, but you can do all kinds of fun things as I will bring up on the screen. It is up to you. Use your imagination. Different colors of wood is always fun. And of course, you get all those kinds of things at Craft Closet, like the red wood, kind of fun. The third thing you're going to need is the file, of course. Just go to my Etsy link below, and I'm updating that file from what it used to be. So if you've already got it, you can go back in there and re-download it. I think one of the main differences I made in this new file is there's lots of little tweaks that make it nice, but the stars are perfectly symmetrical, which they were not in the original file. And, it would take me time to put the stars in because I had to align them perfectly or whatever. Stars align. But now they go in no matter which way you put them, which does make things a bit quicker. I really did go through painstakingly and make sure that everything in this file is as best as I could make it. So the fourth thing you're going to need is make sure you do your testing and settings for the wood that you're using, engraving, cutting, whatever you got to do so that it's going to come out perfect. And so that you're not wasting a bunch of different pieces. A lot of places, and of course Craft Closet has these in 12 by 19. So I literally have created the file so that you could just, it's like 18 and a half inches so that it's easy to frame, easy to put on that piece of wood, and you can make it as big as you possibly can for that style of wood. The stars are easy to cut out at that size, easy. When you shrink it down too much, those stars might start getting difficult to cut out, difficult to put in. And at that point, maybe if you're making it really small, I would just engrave it instead of cutting it. But there are much smaller. In fact, I included, and I'll show you later in the video, I have included a stand, right? So I'll also show you how you can hang it up, but you can also just use the included stand and make it that way. What I've also included in the file is what you can see behind me is the United States outline with a frame. I made this and it turned out really, really good. Now, the piece of wood back there that you see, that's from Craft Closet, just the way it comes. So it's half stars, half stripes, and I just centered it and then I cut it out. And I ended up with extra pieces because I cut out the frame. Then I wanted to cut out a black frame because I thought it looked better. But so I used the frame only, and I made this. This is that magnetic material that's cuttable. So I just traced it and I cut it out, and now I can I'm putting some neodymium magnets on the back of this. So this will sit on the fridge, and then I can put all of the places that I've been in the USA. I'm going to make a separate file for this with all the places in the USA so that you can kind of, make that. I don't know. I just thought it would be fun. That's what laser's all about, right? Take it, do your thing. So let's go over to the file real quick. Okay, so it's going to look a little different. I am redoing this to match the new one, but pretty simple to cut out. I tried to simplify everything as much as I could. So here it is, and it is all, I have labeled everything, tried to make it nice and simple for you. And all you're going to have to do is put your settings in here and figure out what layers at that particular time you need to cut out. Now, you don't have to. If you just want to make things pretty simple for yourself, and kind of what I did, I just stuck the whole 12 by 19 on there, framed it, and cut this out every time for every color. So then I ended up with a bunch of things that I didn't need, like blue stripes and things like that, right? So you don't need to do that. What I would suggest is cut out an entire white, because you're going to need the white stripes or the white stars that are in here and also the whole frame and white. So you might as well just do that. As far as red goes, sure, you can cut out most of it. You don't need the stars, right? So I would stick the blue in right away. All you're going to need to do is the stars and the outline for that, and you could just turn off everything else. So there's the stars. So you'll just cut that out in the blue. And then when it comes to doing the red, you don't need the stars themselves. So you can undo those and then just cut all of this stuff out. And then you'll have the stripes for the red ready to go. You see what I mean? Everything is kind of pretty simple, but you just got to think about what you're doing, because you don't want to waste a bunch of wood, right? And you can change this saying to anything you want, or you could just turn it off and not put it on there. Completely up to you. As far as I put an MDF back on here, so I cut all this out of 3mm, of course. And then when I want to cut the back out, what I did was I just, select it all, and then I'm going to ungroup it. And then I'm going to select the outside only. I personally, of course, you make a copy backup. As soon as you download the file, make a backup copy so that whatever you do here, and if you accidentally save it after you've made changes, that you're not, having to deal with that. So then I just delete all of this, and there's your back, right? So you just cut this out of plain MDF, and then you're going to glue everything on top of it. Very simple. I start from the biggest piece for the outside in, glue that first, and then the star, then the stripes, then the place where the stars go, then the stars at the very end. It's all pretty simple. Putting together a puzzle. These are my favorite kinds of files, are the ones that are like puzzles. I just really enjoy that. Last thing I want to mention is the hanging. You see, right here, I have nothing to hang this on. Now, of course, I did include, as I told you, the stand, and you can make that, and I'll put that at the very end showing you how to do that. But what if you want to hang it? You've only got 2 pieces of 3mm. That's 6mm. Even those little screws are probably going to go all the way through. You don't want that. Come on, let's be real. So what I did is with the laser, I just cut out one little square and then one little long piece. And I very carefully, I made the holes to the exact width of my little hanger thing, and glued this down. Let it dry, and then you really make sure that it's good and secure. Because when you put those screws in, I made the little holes for them to go in with the laser, which made it to where it's not going to try to separate here, and now I've got plenty of space for my little screws to go in without damaging the front of here. I think you get the idea. And the thing at the bottom here is just to make sure that it has the equal distance from the wall when it's sitting on the wall. I didn't want it leaning, in like this on the wall. So if in case you want to hang it, I think that's a great way to go and, go to your local store and get the little hangers, and you can do that. So like I said, I'm going to put the stand here at the end, but before that, I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. I hope I did a decent job at this. Let me know down below. Were you able to make it? Does it look good? How do you think? What kind of modifications have you made? And I will see you in the next one. Love y'all. So this part will come with the file. It's the only real thing I think that I need to explain to people is that this, just like with my Lord's Prayer cross file, if you where you put it in the stand, the only thing that you really need to change is the width of this. So you want to go and make sure in your upper left-hand corner you see this lock. Make sure it is unlocked before you click on it. And then you'll click on it and it will tell you, right now it's in inches. You can click it right up here where it says IN. You could click that to say MM. So whichever way you want to do it, as you can see right here, the width for this right now is 2.85mm. Now that's what worked for the MDF that I was using. Probably could have gone a little bit less even, because you do have a little bit of kerf. And as long as the width is correct, the height should stay the same unless you change the height of it itself. So what I'm going to do, I would say the easiest way to make sure that you've got it correct is you just go down to the bottom and you make sure this will fit in there, right? So as long as that will fit in there like so, you're golden. And then you just got to make sure the width of each of these is the width of your wood, how high your wood is. So how thick your wood is. And that's pretty much it. I just make sure that this thing is in the center, and then I'll take this out, and usually I will rotate it just so that it fits better on a piece of wood. Don't want to waste if you don't need to. And then this is the backing, which you will see here. I did it in the gray MDF. It's really nice when it's already finished. No painting. No, there is not a single bit of paint on any of this. This is all just the colored MDF.